Please explain the Lightning Network compared to the XRPL for Bitcoin Maxi Friend. The Lightning Network is a layer 2 on Bitcoin. It locks up the Bitcoin. It allows you to exchange value over that network to settle much faster when trading Bitcoin, to be able to then unlock the underlying asset and exchange whatever you're holding on that layer 2 for the underlying asset. Very similar to like Polygon or Matic for Ethereum. It's not really scalable, where the TPS on is still far less than 1500. And in the XRPL, kind of max TPS or transactions per second is limited to about 1,500 transactions per second, which is not scalable for Visa or MasterCard or a lot of the other applications that many people would like XRP to be used for. You're going to need an implicit or explicit subnet on the XRPL, which, Bob Wade just happens to have a patent for, to be able to scale it to the level of throughput that's going to be required for a lot of these institutional applications and markets. So, if you think about MasterCard or Visa, the 30,000 transactions per second, Bitcoin's never going to get to that amount. It's not going to matter what the layer 2 is or how it's put together. It's not built, and it doesn't have the functionality. And that needs to also be on the layer 1. They're not going to want a Band-Aid or a secondary network that's going to be exchanging collateral value that you could swap for later. They need actual settlement between the counterparties of whatever's being, swapped. You can't issue assets on Bitcoin either. You can do, they have ordinals where they like etch something in one of the sats on a Bitcoin. That's a crude way of creating an NFT. They've just tried to adapt what's available on that blockchain to the different things that have happened over time. And kudos to the people that have figured that stuff out. Like, it is cool stuff, runes and ordinals and stuff that they have. It's the first mover. It's like the Netscape. Netscape is not Google. It was never going to be Google. MySpace is not Facebook. It was never going to be Facebook. It got to market. It has brand recognition. A lot of people understand, the supply dynamic of Bitcoin and the value proposition that it has, but it's not. And actually, Satoshi's vision was a peer-to-peer payment system that was, frictionless and removed banks or intermediaries. But when they didn't increase the block size and they decided to fork it to Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, they really kind of killed Satoshi's original vision for Bitcoin. And since then, they've just, pushed it toward this narrative around digital gold, which fine. Like, I get that. And again, I think a fair market value for Bitcoin is $5,000 or $20,000. Somewhere in that range, I think, is a fair market value. Just it doesn't have the same value proposition, and it doesn't have the same ability to be able to scale for financial products and markets like the XRPL does with side chains and the subnet that I do believe is going to be imposed on the network. That'll be alongside the layer 1. It's not like it's, a layer 2 or a Band-Aid on top of it. And you need interoperability for settlement. You need a DEX. There's just a lot of things. And again, like compliance pieces, you've got digital identity, you've got credentials, you've got, just a lot of things going for the XRPL that Bitcoin cannot do.